So just to show you, it's three different images scanned in that show a cross section, and it has to be combined into one piece. And you can, before you used to have to do it by hand, but Automate has been a function around for a while, and it's called PHOTOmerge, just merging the photos together. And when you get this, you have 6 options here for doing different ways to manipulate the photos. Adding all these files open is what I'm going to use, and just click OK. And as soon as I hit OK, it'll take a moment, and the computer renders through these. If it all fits together, it makes a rather one large composite of all of these images. And now I have this combined, and just to take a look at it, there it is, horizontal. So I'm just going to go to Image Rotate and just go clockwise so you can see it as a vertical image. And what this is made of now is just 3 layers from the 3 images. So here's the 3 images next to it. It's an untitled panorama. If I clip it off, you can see that the computer, Photoshop, has gone through and made a layer mask on each of those, trying to analyze all the pictures. And as long as you scan them so they're relatively in the same direction closely, it'll compensate for it. So if you disable this section on this piece, you can at least see how it's placed in there. But it's just a layer mask that's on top of this, all 3 of these layers here. And let's see if this is going to, so if I disable the piece of it, you can see that it's listed right there. So the right click or to enable or disable brings it back together. So those are the 3 images. Okay, show you that. So then what's the easiest is to combine these all and just merge them together with Command E, merging the layers. So as far as an architectural standpoint there, this is just giving you the directions of this. So just to show you, this is the cross section of the roof. There's a ridge vent. Most of the roofs are vented to let the heat outside vent through from the attic, and there's also some vents underneath the overhang so that the air doesn't get stuck in there and overheat to take off the shingles. Just showing the top piece has shingles, then the felt that goes underneath it, so it's kind of indicating that just in order. So when you think of Photoshop having layers, this construction concept is the same idea. And this section that you see, this cross piece, is what they call a truss. And these verticals here are used for representing that superstructure that holds it up. So all the engineering that's been figured out is for that. This section, or this line that comes down and zigzags left to right, is just showing that the roof, there's a gap, and so in order to put this drawing on one page, they just say that this continues. And same on the right hand side, as it comes down the slope of the roof, this section is just an indication showing that it continues on. So even though there's a gap, it just says it can go on for a lot longer. This gypsum board is nothing more than drywall. It used to be called sheetrock. And just to show it to you, so it has the same wall that you see in the room here painted. Right beneath that, it's been sanded and painted and primed with paint. But the gypsum is just a wall board, usually 4x8, sometimes larger, in commercial buildings. And depending on the climate, this ice guard is showing it's 3 feet above the gutter. So as snow and ice pile up in the gutter, it doesn't seep into the house, but it has a guard of about 3 feet. So hopefully it'll melt by then, giving you that piece for geography for trying that location. This drip edge is just, again, showing the gutter side of it and just the fascia board. So all these pieces, all this information, showing arrows pointing to the directional pieces for that with the overhang and the soffit. So kind of coming down here, showing nowadays they have vinyl siding. Used to be wood clapboard on the side of it. So they're just kind of indicating the wallboard as well. So usually it's plywood on the outside. So the plywood sheathing, they say, over the walls, which you can't see from this direction, which are just 24-inch on center stud walls onto the side of it. And then it gets down here to the the foundation. So this 2x8 pressure treated wood is bolted. There's bolts that are sticking out of the concrete foundation. This is a poured foundation, and it's showing that section that has indications of kind of metal pieces sticking up like a bolt, kind of some like what you've drawn. And from there, this plate is secured on there, and that's kind of the footer. So it has a piece of the wood for them to be pounding into as well. So just kind of showing it. It's a stamped. Sometimes it's the concrete on the outside to show a brick pattern is stamped concrete. And all these textures that you see, this is the slab, so that came off a little edgy there, but here's again the extension line to show that it cuts across, just kind of indicating within the poured concrete foundation, you can see that it has these continuous rod coming through to give it some support. Concrete binds to the metal rod itself, and then it gives you all these textures to try to show the grading, the gravel, and the part that has to be angled away from the house for the drainage to happen, depending on where this is located. And then this drawing down here, scale 3 inches, there's the 3/4 with the, you can kind of see the double mark, equals 1 foot. So it's, when you take a look at your ruler engineering scale, that's what this is showing. And again, most of this, if it's drawn in CAD or something like that for a architectural standpoint, that's where that's from. And it does have a lot of extra pieces, so just taking the crop tool, take that off and bring that up into here, so that gives you that section. So there you have it, using PHOTOmerge for a graph, and then seeing this view like a cross section for this part, give you a little construction background. If you ever get involved with somebody in that type of a profession, then you have that style in the background of your head there.